Good morning and a very warm welcome to Frugalful. My name's Lara and this is a frugal living and budgeting channel. Wherever you are in the world, hope all is well. If you're in colder parts like I am, hope you're keeping warm and cozy and that your energy costs aren't too high. Here's Abella. She always gets in on the scene, doesn't she? She's so funny. So the topic of this video is to do with make, do and mend. And as we come into the colder weather, a really nice cozy evening activity on the cold dark evenings. I quite like to just get a pot of fruit tea and sit and potter and do a few sewing repairs while listening to music or watching programs. And it's very relaxing. So, and it's also practical and it's also helping save money. So first I'm going to tell you about, I had a bit of a near miss recently and it's connected to clothes as well. So I was steam ironing the clothes in my wardrobe that I keep hung up so that I can just easily grab something on the go and I've not got to start ironing first thing because that's quite a hassle. So I wanted to just have that organised and I made a massive error of judgment because what I do is I do have a regular iron as well, but with my wrist injury it's more painful and slow and difficult using a regular iron. So I have one of these vertical steam irons that I got in August and it's good for kind of any really severe creases still need a regular iron, but it's good for many things. But I was doing the steam ironing and I had my things hung up leaning against my wardrobe, and what a big mistake that was. So the wardrobe is laminated wood and I'll show you in a picture just here what happened. What a disaster. So I ended up with steam damage. It went white and I was like, oh my God, I thought that's it. I thought my wardrobe's ruined and I was really disappointed because it's part of a set. I've got a bigger one and this is the smaller one, and they're from the 30s as far as I know. They're old vintage ones and they're lovely and I got them at a bargain price, but they're a piece of history and I also, they're perfectly functional and good, so I don't want to be having to buy another wardrobe, maybe ever, because there's not really any need and it's a good one. But that was really disappointing. And then, thank goodness for YouTube and Google, I managed to find out that there's a trick that you can do. And if you use a tea towel and then you iron on top of the tea towel. So I ironed my wardrobe, which is a very strange thing to need to do, on the highest heat setting on a dry heat with a tea towel as a buffer to protect the wardrobe. I ironed the door on a high heat. It took quite a long time, and the stains were really quite bad, so it really took quite some time. But miraculously, as you'll see here, I've managed to restore it, and what a relief that is. Thank you so much, Google. There's quite a few videos out there that show what to do, and that was a massive help. I mean, YouTube. Google as well, but the YouTube videos in particular were really helpful. And as I say, there's lots of them out there for how to remove watermarks on laminated wood. So thank you, YouTube. So anyway, today, sewing. So a couple of the things I steamed, these are the first sewing repairs I'm going to do. There's a hole in the back of that, and it's not moths, thankfully. It's because this used to be a kind of I think they call it a placebo blouse. So yeah, and this had a button. It had a button here and I've cut the button off and I've accidentally cut it too much. I quite like it with that. So I might just sew it and add a new button. So I've got that option again. And then this one. And these are all charity shop things. I love to buy my clothes in the charity shops. Please let us know in the comments if you like to use charity shops as well, and any sewing repair tips you have. Now with this one, it's got a dart there, but the dart's coming loose there. So that's a quick, easy sew. There's absolutely no point getting rid of these things just because of some minor flaw that's easy to sort in less than 5 minutes. Oh, and also I've already done one, it's not a repair exactly, it kind of is. I added a button to the coat because it had a, and this coat I got from the Swap Boutique, the Revolve shop, which is in a previous video. And somewhere here, yeah, I realised that there's a slip for a button here because all I had was one popper. So I've added, and the button, there was a spare button on the inner lining where the wash label is somewhere. So I was able to just sew the spare button on. And this is back to usable again, which is great because now the weather's getting colder. On a dry but really cold day, this is going to be my go-to when I'm out and about. It's so cozy. And if you see the other video, it was such a bargain. So I'm going to get the 2 blouses sorted and then I'll show you what the next sewing repairs are today. See you soon. Okay, so that's the blouses, the first 2 blouses sorted, which is good, but they're not perfect, but that's okay. I don't mind that. I really don't mind that. At the end of the day, they're still usable. They've still got plenty of life left in them. So why not try to restore them as best I can? Like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm happy with that. But it did dawn on me that I can do a repair, a very easy repair for this. Oh, it's a wee loose thread. I'll trim that while I'm here. What I'm trying to get into the habit of doing once I deal with this backlog of sewing repairs, or not just after that, now, just from now on, hence those 2 blouses just there. What I'm trying to do now is every time I do any laundry, I double check the garments, and if anything needs a sewing repair, then once it's dry, I have to attend to that before I can put it away. And then that way I'm not pulling stuff out of the cupboard and ending up with all these issues of repairing things, and then just leaving the thing in the wardrobe. That's a Bella. Just leaving the thing in the wardrobe because it's got some kind of repair needed, and then it just sits and doesn't get used, or it gets or you know, like sometimes people would maybe eventually get rid of the thing. But if something I like and it's got more life in it, as I say, make do and mend. And the quicker to do that, the better, because there's a proverb, I think it's a proverb, a stitch in time saves 9. And it's so true. So even though this does have a zip where these don't fall out, but when I go to use the zip on this waterproof, the zip splits. It does have poppers. It has a limited number of poppers, but I just want to have a bit of extra fastening potential between these poppers on the way up. This is a brilliant, now this is when I need the big guns. I get this thing out, it's huge, and it's really good for helping to fight off the elements, because sometimes, come rain or shine, I like to be out and about and I have things to be getting on with. But if the rain is really, 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 really heavy, like if there's rain, usually I've got brollies and a poncho thing, but that's got limited, it's got limited helpfulness because it can get soaked through. It's only water resistant, really, not waterproof. I've got brollies that help, but sometimes the brollies, if it's windy, they get blown inside out. So if the weather's really, really wild, I will have my trench coat and then I'll have this over my trench coat, and it's just that extra layer of protection. But I just think it would be good to have a bit of extra something between the poppers, since the zip's not really working properly. So I think I'm going to have a trial of the Velcro, and I might just add a couple of bits of stitching. She's a rascal. I might add a couple of bits of stitching up the sides just to make it extra strong so it stays on. So I'm going to have this. And again, I don't mind how it looks. It's more just that I want it to be functional. But actually, I am going to just try something. Bella is in hyper playful mode at the moment, aren't you? Okay. So for example, when that's poppered, I could have a bit of Velcro just between the zip bit. Would that still sit okay? I'm thinking out loud with you today. Yeah, say for example it's got the popper bit on there. Either that or just having it straight on the material. I think straight on the material is the way to go. But I can do it in a way that looks neat. I won't have it on that bit. I'll have it between I'll have it just between these two. And I think what I'll do is have, let's see. Let's have a looky. I think that bit's a bit damaged. Get it nice and straight. Like so, for example, is it better to have it in a big strip? I reckon, rather than little bits. I think so. So I'm going to do the same length for both. As the more practical something is, the more I'm going to use it and the more it's going to benefit me. And then the more I can get my money's worth from it. And that's what it's all about. I did pick this up secondhand and it was a great deal. So the fact that the zip doesn't work perfectly, it's not a big deal really, because it didn't cost me very much at all to get. And it's also missing a hood, but that's okay because I may even just move a hood from something I've already got onto it. So that's no big deal to me. Plus I've got rain hats as well, which I could use instead of a hood. Right, let's do this. Oh, thank goodness that's done. That jacket took me bloomin' ages. Right, fueled by coffee, because this is a morning sewing session. What have we got here? Another blouse. What is the matter? It's been a while since I've delved into this bag, so I'm trying to identify what the problem is. Trimming loose threads as I go. And then later, when it's repaired, I'll be extremely carefully steam ironing it. It may just be the gaping bust syndrome, you know, like when I button my things up. It's like any females can relate, I'm sure. It can be a bit annoying, so sometimes I add a popper. So it might just be that's what I was going to do. I can't actually see any issues with this whatsoever as far as like sewing repairs. I reckon it probably is the gapey thing in that case. That's an easy fix. Yeah, that's an easy fix. This one. There's what looks like it's going to become a tiny hole there. Likewise, I can't actually see anything wrong with this. Yes, there is. Stitching's coming loose under the armpit for that one. That won't take me long to sew. I found another loose thread on that one. Okay. This one. not even sure if there is anything wrong with this one. With this one, I think I know what it is with this one. Yeah, with this one I think it's just the fact that I will want to do something rather than having buttons. I'll probably just stitch that because I can't stand buttons there because they get tangled in my hair. So I think that's the only issue. Mind you, it needs the stretch. It's got a stretchy neck. I think as long as I stitched the elastic straight onto the garment, I could do that. So that's fine. 2 camisoles. I think they've got a few things. Yeah, that's frayed. So I'll just stitch that so it doesn't fray anymore. What else? I think that's all that's wrong with that, is just, stopping this from fraying anymore, securing it. It's just making a wee bit of time for these things. This one, this bit's come loose, so it's stitching this bit back on here. Nothing else wrong with it. This is one of my favourite camisole tops because I wear these under my blouses usually, and I got this in a, if you ever visit Berlin, there are charity shops called Humana, and there was one near the TV tower and it was great, and they had loads of vintage stuff for sale at charity shop, really cheap charity shop prices, and I think all of these were €1 or 2 each. This was back in 2016, so I got quite a few, and they're nice and soft. They're like satin material. This bag, now I think it's just a couple of beady bits that are, yeah, there's a beady bit missing from there. There's not really much I can do about that, just tidy it up. It's not really noticeable. I don't have any replacement beads for it. And then there's some bits here where the beads have come off. So just to tuck those back in, really. I lost a few beads there as well. But yeah, it's just tying up loose bits so I don't lose any more beads. The beads I have lost so far, there's nothing I can do, sorry. There you go. It's such a pretty bag. But there are some areas where the beadings come away, and I don't have any replacement beads, so it's just going to be a case of securing any bits where more beads could fall off and trimming the bits where they've already come off. I don't think it's really that noticeable, and I guess it just adds character to the bag. And then finally, for this lot and for this video, because it will get rather long otherwise, I've got this jacket which has got a lot of Bella hair on it, and it's just got a bit that's come loose here that needs to get put back in at the shoulder. I've got to do it from the outside because the lining is still intact. But this is a great jacket. This is like an old favourite that I've had for many years, and it's very reliable. So that will be the last of my sewing repairs today. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope that it encouraged anyone that's thinking of doing some sewing repairs to do a few of their own. Please let us know in the comments below if you make do and mend, and in what ways you like to make do and mend with your items, and I'll share with you in a future video when I do some more sewing repairs or other kinds of repairs around my home. Take care, see you again soon, and best wishes to you. Bye.